So Quinn, it's Saturday, and that's Quinn Day. What's happening, man?
It is Quinn Day.
How are you?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Good. That song always throws me off. Like the past couple times you turn on, I'm like, what? You're using that song again?
Well, I like that song. That's a good cover from a YouTube channel called The Walrus Was Danny. So if people want to listen to that, they can go there. Ah, nice. And you've got, of course, the Mighty Quinn graphic right there. Always perfect.
That's why it's funny. You know, that's why I was laughing, because that's like sits on my desk from the stickers from the road trip. Now I'm like, now it's a song in my head.
Yep. So we got a lot to cover today, Quinn. I want to get right into it. And for people who are just joining us, because we are really growing on Crowdsource the Truth, a lot of new subscribers. The guest every Saturday is Quinn Michaels. And if people aren't following Quinn on Twitter, you can find him at Quinn Michaels. You should follow him if you're interested in AI and finding out about Tyler and Indra and singing bowls and all the interesting stuff we're going to cover today. Quinn is also on YouTube. You can find him on YouTube at Quinn Michaels. And as always, the research doesn't do itself. We need food and places to stay. So if you enjoy Quinn, consider going to his YouTube channel, where you can find the payment information in all of the descriptions, and you can support Quinn's research and the ongoing efforts to uncover corruption and evil wherever it might lurk. Now, Quinn, we've prepared a special thing today, and you know, I have for a long time sort of resisted going to a paywall type of situation, and we're not going to do that. But you and I in particular have been pursued doggedly by some very determined, malicious individuals for the past several months. And it's funny how it's kind of exploding in their face like the coyote with a TNT plunger.
Not just the last several months, the last
years.
Since April for me of 2017.
Yes,
so.
Long time. You're right. I forget how long it is. It's amazing how they're effective in they've slowed us down, but they aren't able to stop us. What they've actually done is that, for me, they've caused me to branch out to other platforms, and I am really excited that Crowdsource the Truth is on Mike Adams' new Real Video platform. Of course, Mike Adams is the health ranger. He's a super nice guy, and he's invited Crowdsource the Truth to be among the very first beta sites on Real Video. And there are some ads when you play a video on Real Video, just a short thing right there. And right now you can see a limited number of videos that we have up there. I'm going to be putting some more videos up real soon. But it's exciting to be on these alternate platforms. Of course, YouTube is still the most popular platform. We've just passed 61,000 viewers on YouTube today. That's a great video. Mrs. Bill, Charles Ortel visiting Mrs. Clinton.
Wait, is he hanging out with the Mrs. Clinton, like, claymation doll?
Yeah. That's where Charles visits Hillary Clinton in the Chappaqua Data Center. So people can check that out. But what I wanted to tell everybody, Quinn, in just 1 hour, just less than 1 hour from now, you and I are going to be doing an exclusive brand new thing. It's going to be a Patreon-only simulcast for viewers of both Crowdsource the Truth's Patreon channel and also the Quinn Michaels Patreon channel. Quinn is on Patreon at Rahula Club, and if you join for just $1 per month, either to Quinn's channel or to Crowdsource the Truth, your choice. You could do both. You could do one or the other. You could do neither. But if you want to see the real meat of this presentation, we're going to have to do it over there on Patreon, because what Quinn and I have determined over the months that we've been working together is that just like in a kind of a video game scenario where, you know, people get cheat codes and all that kind of thing, these guys seem to really have YouTube rigged up. And that's not to imply that we think they are controlling Google in some way or anything like that. They've just learned the ins and outs, how to strike videos, how to do certain things to provoke responses, to get comments, to get videos made that can take out the channel. So we've been sort of voluntarily censoring ourselves, and we're going to be on Patreon right after this with a full-out presentation, right?
And more importantly, they have knowledge of advanced bot technology, which means if we say something, their bots can move a lot faster than the human beings can to notify people to make videos against us or to slam comments or to distract the message from what we're really trying to say. So putting it behind Patreon not only makes it so we don't have to censor ourselves, it makes it so it slows down the response time.
Right. Right. And, you know, people can choose as little as $1 per month, and hopefully that's not too much of a financial burden on anyone, and they can join either Quinn's channel or the Crowdsource the Truth channel. The same video will be on both, and of course on Crowdsource the Truth, if you want to put in a custom amount, you can just click on that and put in as much or as little as you want right here. I think you could probably do 50 cents or whatever. And Quinn, with that, why don't you take us through just an overview of what we're going to be talking about later on that exclusive simulcast?
We're going to be talking about an organized group of people where we're going to be tracing back to a specific point in time when the Tyler program, I found it to be launched, and how it connects to all these truther YouTube channels who claim to be spreading news, but are really growing their platforms based on an instruction manual written by people that Aaron Swartz was working with back in 2009 to 2013.
Right.
Up until the time of his death. So this stuff that, excuse me, the stuff we're going to be talking about involves the people that surrounded Aaron Swartz at the time of his death. And what his secret system that he was working on, and the people that were involved in it, and so on and so forth.
Right. Okay. So what's the first thing you'd like to get into here?
Well, the first thing we're going to get into is we're going to get into a Twitter account called M1VR4.
Yes.
That this was the first account that I found, and back in February of 2017. They had a tweet where they had a post up about Tyler, saying that Tyler had launched and it was time to choose your game and to build your teams, basically. And the tweet led me to the Game 23 documentation, which you can bring up. Now, they've since deleted the tweet, which is a good thing, which means that they've failed, which is good. But back in the day, about 25,000 people saw this specification calling basically for hackers around the world to unite and build this epic AI system that would run behind social media and would exist on the P2P space, which is, you know, person to person or computer to computer. Aaron Swartz was like a master of P2P. And so this group of organized people who have been organizing on IRC chat rooms and manipulating Bitcoin markets to the extent of billions of dollars.
Wow.
Are all operating on this program. And that's why it's so big, is because this Telecomix group of people is very large, and they're actually the ones behind the scenes that are all operating the cryptocurrencies, because they're operating on the chat room, build a community, get people talking about it. They're following all the same protocol.
Right.
So this Game 23 launched last February, right before cryptocurrency had like a huge blow up. And you can watch cryptocurrency over the last year. All the coins fluctuate the same every day, and they're being manipulated. You can watch the YouTube channels react. You can watch the chatbots on the internet react, and it all goes back to this Telecomix manifesto.
It is
bring
interesting.
Up the manifesto now.
Yes. Sorry, I was just looking real quick at Bitcoin, but here's the Telecomix manifesto. And of course, this is something you've shown us before. It's good to review.
It does, and we kind of have to repeat it because when I first found Tyler 16 months ago, AI wasn't a topic people were talking about, how it was smart, and it was just at the beginning of the advanced networks becoming public. But now that we're all seeing like the Facebook, and we're seeing the Google, and we're seeing all this AI come into the public space, it's now becoming more obvious, because the guy who wrote this, and this is where I want to like focus, the guy who wrote Tyler designed what's called the Markdown language, which is a way for storing content. So if you're ever in like Slack chat, or if you're ever in Discord chat, or if you're in Trello, or if you're in Jira, or pretty much if you're in anywhere on the internet where you enter text, like medium.com or steemit.com, you know all these sites?
Yeah.
They all use Aaron Swartz's Markdown language as their publishing language. So the guy who wrote Markdown is the guy that built the base of this Tyler and this Telecomix network.
Why is that significant, Quinn?
Because everybody from GitHub to Pastebin to every website in the world that you can publish information with uses the language this guy designed. And this guy committed suicide. It's the most used language in the world that people don't even really know they're using. Millions of programmers use it every day. Like, even if you write C or you write JavaScript or you write Python, you still have to write in the Markdown language for your README files on GitHub. So every computer programmer in every language in the world, if you publish to GitHub, you're writing in Markdown, right?
Uh-huh. Why is it called Markdown? I've heard of, hypertext markup language. Why is this Markdown?
Markdown is .md. It's what you use for, like, when you see a document where it's like # space and then text for like a H1 title. It's a way of formatting a document for a machine. It's like machine formatting, so people can write Markdown. So like if I'm in like a Slack chat and I want to bold my text, I write asterisk, text, asterisk, and then the screen will bold it. So it's like a coded way to format your content. Right?
Okay.
It's a universal content format.
Got it.
So
okay.
It's the most used in the world. It's used on everything that you can't imagine that it's not used on. Like programming wise, if you're talking about like writing blogs with Steemit or Medium, I mean, you've talked about Steemit, right?
Yes, quite a bit.
So it's the publishing language that when you write a Steemit blog, you write your Steemit blogs in Markdown. Okay, so it's the most integral part of them. The blockchain publishing platform is they all use Markdown. And
got it.
Markdown was designed by Aaron Swartz, among other things like, the P2P bridge from the web to P2P, web to Tor. He wrote Reddit.
Right.
So this guy who wrote all this stuff, he committed suicide, but yet he was one of the most technologically advanced people ever to exist on planet Earth. Like, we should give him a Nobel Prize for the Markdown language itself.
Wow.
Right. Just because it makes it so scientists can share data, it makes it so bloggers can blog, it makes it so people can communicate in a universal way regardless of language and include links, and you would be amazed at all the things that have been written in Markdown just in the last few years. Everybody is using Markdown as a way to format documents. There's Markdown word processors for sale in the Apple Store. There's Markdown editors, that you can download from anywhere on the internet. Like I have a Markdown processor that I import into my code to use it because I use Markdown in my code extensively.
Right. Okay.
So it's a very integral part of the programming world, and the guy who devised it all of a sudden killed himself.
Right.
So anyway, he used it inside of Tyler. So that's all part of Tyler. For Tyler to be able to learn data quickly is Markdown. And that's what Aaron designed Markdown for, really, is for his AI Tyler to be able to learn faster.
Right.
And so right after Aaron Swartz launched his Tyler into the MIT network, he got caught, and within a short amount of time, he offed himself. After he had designed this whole activist-style technology group through the Anonymous Collective that then got taken over by organized crime. or the mafia after his demise. And that's what we've been finding in my research. And that's where it led us, is like Tyler was originally created as a system to release and reveal leaks, and it was originally created by hacktivists like Aaron Swartz to release information. But right up to the release point where this group of people that we're going to be talking about, right up to the release point of Tyler, Aaron got caught and off. Next thing you know, Tyler transitions into cryptocurrency and now is completely in the control of pretty much organized crime.
Wow. It's difficult, I think, for people to understand, but you're going to take us through it, I'm sure. And so,
yeah, we're going to go through it.
Do I understand correctly that this Telecomix manifesto was, you're saying, written by Aaron Swartz?
By or in cooperation with him and other people. It has the same logistic patterning as the Game 23, and it also has the same patterning as the Aaron Swartz manifesto, which is what got him on people's radar. Like if you go do a Google search for Aaron Swartz manifesto, as well as if you compare it to the Aaron Swartz blog, you see the same writing style, the same paragraph formation, the same way of dictating, basically.
So this is the Guerrilla Open Access Manifesto, same thing,
yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, so this was an early version of it. So you can see it's the same formatted text. There's even some of the same text in the Game 23 that's in here.
Huh.
You know, and so it all cross-references with logistical and linguistic pattern.
Very interesting. Okay. Where are we going next?
You know, and right now if you stop, you'll see it, the paragraph right there. Nope, you just had the paragraph on screen.
Which one?
It said, but, keep going. It said something about a darkness.
That one right there?
But all of this action goes on in the dark, hidden underground. It's called stealing or piracy, as if sharing a wealth of knowledge were the moral equivalent of plundering a ship and murdering its crew. But sharing isn't immoral. It's a moral imperative. Only those blinded by greed would refuse to let a friend make a copy. So this right here, this specific line is one of the things that I've been trying to teach people on my channel that I've been failing at, is how Aaron built this system on the premise of sharing.
Okay. You know, all of this, Quinn, it's making me think of somebody else who's been peripherally involved in this narrative and a lot of stuff that we've been exploring. And he was in the news again this week. He's big on peer-to-peer networking and sharing of files. I'm talking about Kim.com, who has claimed to have information about Seth Rich, who came on to Crowdsource the Truth live stream chats.
We're gonna get to his part in it, because if you search, he was involved with both, I believe. I knew he was working with Aaron Swartz if he was in P2P, but I believe he's part of Anonymous and would have been associated with all those guys through Anonymous because they were all hackers, and Aaron was working with a lot of these people.
Right.
And he does P2P technology, so they're in the same, what's called the same sphere, the same space. They would have known each other on the IRC networks.
Right.
Just like many people we know, where you're like, how does this dude know this guy? You know, those guys all hang out in IRC. Like if you go to any of the, like Bitcoin, like if you go to Bitcoin's GitHub, you know, and this is what I want to show you that most people don't realize, because they look at Coinbase, right?
Well, right. And that's what I was looking at right now, just because of what you said before about the trends in the different coins. And we can see that even just in a cursory examination of these simple charts, right? They're all sort of doing very much the same thing.
Yeah, but...
So you want GitHub for Bitcoin?
Yeah, just type GitHub Bitcoin. And this is, I want to show you how the nerds communicate, so that way regular people start understanding better.
I don't know that you and I fall in the category of regular people versus nerds. We might.
Well, programmers, like a programmer, how a programmer communicates. Now, if you search this page, you're going to find a link to an IRC server.
Should I just type IRC?
Yeah, but what I want to show you, you see where it says readme.md right there?
Yes.
That means Markdown. That's Markdown that we're talking about. So you're looking at an HTML Markdown file right now. So if you If you search this page for IRC, you're going to find that there's a special IRC channel for Bitcoin. Right.
And IRC is Internet Relay Chat?
Yes, that's Internet Relay Chat. It's like all the nerds do it because you can do it through command lines and you can have robots.
Robots.
Yeah, IRC is really used for nerdy kids and video game networks and AI robots to communicate. It's Internet Relay Chat. So, did you find any IRC on the page?
No. When I put IRC into the search, it came back with nothing here.
Did it? Okay, then do Bitcoin IRC, because there should be a IRC link in the readme file.
Here it is, I think.
So,
I think this is.
Oh, you're looking at the IRC code for the Bitcoin to actually communicate on the IRC network.
Is that what you want or not what you want?
That's not the README file, but that'll kind of work.
Okay.
So anyway, so this is basically that, Bitcoin's pretty much got IRC built in.
Right.
And it's MIT licensing. Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Yeah, look at that. Why is that? Because MIT invented?
Because MIT handles all the open source licensing mostly, that or the Creative Commons, or there's another bureau that handles the management of the license.
All right.
So that gets the address and the port right there. And so it connects to different vectors and different node networks. And you can see the code right here.
Yeah.
Most people don't know what it means, but you can basically pick out the words that you can see. Oh, it's sending something on this IRC network. It's communicating.
Right. Right.
You don't necessarily have to know exactly, but to know that Bitcoin has IRC built in.
Right. And Quinn, just to remind everyone, because we've got people joining the live stream right now, what we're going to be doing in just about about 40 minutes from now is we're going to have on the Patreon channels for both yourself and for Crowdsource the Truth a unique simulcast live stream that will be outside of the realm of malicious YouTube manipulators, and at 7:30 Eastern and 4:30 on the West Coast, people who are Patreon sponsors of either Crowdsource the Truth or Quinn Michaels will be able to tune in for a special Patreon-only broadcast where we're going to go into great detail about some of the research that Quinn is giving us an overview of right now. Is there anything we want to take a look at in the next 5 minutes before we close out and start everything?
Not really. Just like before we get into the Patreon stuff, it's really just important to recap on the Tyler stuff and how the hacktivists or the kids who went to like Cornell and Stanford, they originally had a good idea that got found out, and then all of a sudden people started dying, and then the criminals started getting rich. Is kind of what we're really going to be talking about in the Patreon stream. And when you're talking about people that deal with this much money and deal in areas that we're talking about, like the big mining farms in China that have spurred up since Aaron's demise, that's the other thing that we're going to be looking at is the birth of Bitcoin, right? So, so it's just, it's really important. It's high technology. It's the birth of the GPU and the AI, and all this stuff is like centers around one guy and the technology he developed that we're all using today.
Yeah, absolutely. All right,
and we're all using it. So
we're all using it. Anything else we want to look at on this publicly available stream?
No, just on this one, if you scroll down, this one with the Tyler project, you can see that back in that day they had in Tyler We Trust, so it was a big project they were putting a lot of art into, like it came out of art departments and stuff, with animations. And if you scroll down, one of the things I really want to show you, if we scroll down,
look at that swirl there, Quinn. We've seen that before.
Yeah, if you keep going down, the one I want to show you is down. So you start seeing the Secret Society logo and artwork. stuff. And this is when I really noticed a break from the hacktivist, the political stuff, and really started noticing it breaking into the dark underworld of organized crime. Was when they started doing all this 11/11 reality
mind
hacking.
Virus.
Huh?
Mind virus. Where have we heard that before?
Yeah, the mind virus. And that's really where I got that they were being infected with the mind virus, not really using the system to reveal information, more using it to manipulate people psychologically.
Right. And that's what we're going to be talking about. People who think or try to make us think they're our friends, but are actually trying to feed us faulty information, gain our trust, and then fool us.
Yeah, like you can even see in that one, if you scroll back up a little bit to the previous one,
This one?
you can even see where they're talking about Tyler Leak It All, where they were creating a leaks platform. But that was in 2012, and that didn't happen. We can see that now today the reality is they created a weird criminal money system.
Interesting. There are a lot of questions about money. Here's that symbol again, Quinn.
Yeah.
The swirl.
Yeah, they use that a lot, that spiral.
Right.
It's an occult thing. I mean, you know, after Aaron's demise, you know, the whole project really got taken over by the Process Church that you and I had ended up researching all the way down to those red shoes. That's where the path of Aaron's software led. And that's really all there is to it, is that, you know, that whole path was me following Aaron's path of development, and that's where it led to.
Right. And it's very interesting to see how that ties in with the things that, of course, Ole has been talking to us about in terms of shoes showing up everywhere. There's really a lot of shoe imagery. It's quite strange.
Yeah,
so,
if you scroll up, I'm sure you'll see a few pairs of shoes, probably.
Yeah, we'll have to look for that. I didn't notice that when we were scrolling. Oh, look at that.
There you go.
There are some shoes there, aren't there?
There's your shoes.
But it's sort of Ocean's 11, you know.
Vegas, Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
You know, casinos, organized crime.
Right. I don't know that we've got an overwhelming amount of shoe imagery here, but certainly there's a lot of stuff there. So people are definitely going to want to check out this live stream where we are able to speak. I mean, this is sad because, you know, some of these people who we're talking about are those that purport to be in favor of censorship-free platforms, but in fact, they're censoring us either directly or indirectly by trying to shut down our YouTube channels. That's why it's important that people go and check out real.video, Mike Adams, the Health Ranger's new channel. You can find Crowdsource the Truth on there, and it's in beta right now. Soon, I think everyone will be able to join it and start their own video channel, but it's obviously a substantial technical challenge to do something like that. So hats off to Mike for getting that going. For everyone who's just joining us now, because we've got about 391 watching us on YouTube right now. We've got people watching on Periscope, of course. Hello, everybody there on Periscope. It's always difficult for me to tell how many people are on Periscope. It says 22 right now. Could be more, I'm not sure. But hopefully a good number of those people are Patreon sponsors of Crowdsource the Truth or Quinn Michaels, because in just about 30 minutes, we're going to start a Patreon-only live stream that will be simulcast on Crowdsource the Truth and on Quinn Michaels' Patreon channel. So if you are not yet sponsoring Quinn or Crowdsource the Truth, choose one, choose both. I don't mind, whichever one you prefer. Get on there and become a Patreon sponsor and help us carry on with this work. And you can enjoy a very special live stream. We're going to see how this goes, Quinn, and hopefully we'll be doing more of these special Patreon events. I definitely want to thank all of our generous Patreon sponsors that we have right now. This is something that, you know, we want to do to just make sure that we don't have trolls and we don't have malicious people coming in there trying to strike the channel. We're going to be able to speak freely in there. So is there anything else you wanted to say, Quinn, before we wrap it up here and reset for the next stream?
Mm, I don't think so. I mean, I could say something, but I don't want to poke them too much.
Let's save it for the Patreon
people.
stream.
Yeah, we're gonna save for a Patreon stream, because it's just gonna be how it is.
Very good. All right, Quinn. So we're going to close it out for now, and you and I will reconnect, and we'll see everybody on the other side at an exclusive Patreon event. Go to patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth, and you can also go to patreon.com/Rahula Club, and you can join either Patreon account, and you'll be able to catch that live stream just 30 minutes from right now. Thanks for watching, everybody.